Is investing in mutual funds permissible? A similar question is posed by Dr. Ansari. Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Ansari, an Indian working in Saudi Arabia. I got an impression from a lecture that mutual fund is allowed in Islam. So I opened an account in the State Bank of India. However, my wife is insisting a reconfirmation. I will appreciate your answer. Jazakallah khair. First question posed is mutual fund permitted? The second question, I said that he has heard my lecture saying mutual funds are permitted. He already opened an account in State Bank, but the wife is insisting reconfirm. And I agree with your wife. All mutual funds are not permitted. Only the Sharia compliant mutual funds are permitted. Mutual fund means there is a fund manager which invests in various companies, buy shares of various different companies. So you do a pooling, you put your share of investment, and maybe thousands and hundreds of thousands of people may have put in their share, and the pool may be big, maybe millions of dollars. Then that fund manager invests in different company, 5 company, 10 company, 20 company, 100 company. So it's a pool of shares of different company to mitigate your risk. So depending upon how expert the fund manager, that way the fund will perform. This is called a mutual fund. So mutual fund which are Sharia compliant are permitted, but mutual fund which are not Sharia compliant are not permitted. So if the fund manager has knowledge of the Sharia, and if that mutual fund has a Sharia board which looks into the details of the fund managing, then the mutual fund is halal, otherwise it is haram. For you to buy a share of an individual company, you can yourself, if you have knowledge of the Sharia, can check. So to buy the share of a company, you have to first see to it that the activity of the company, the core activity, should not be haram. They should not be selling alcohol, they should not be selling pork, it should not be an interest-based company like a bank or an investment-based company based on riba. So the core activity, number one, should not be haram. Number two, we should see to it that the debt and the cash ratio. If the company has taken too much of loan from the bank, excessive, even that company becomes haram. If it's a small percentage, it depends. Some of the maximum that some of the Islamic economists allow is up to 30%, some say 20%, some say 10%. I am of the opinion it should be bare minimum. So there are various criteria for you to judge whether investing in that company is haram or halal. One thing is that the core activity should not be haram, that is one aspect. But the other aspects also, have the company taken loan or not, what is the cash to debt ratio, and various other aspects. So if all the aspects are Sharia compliant, you can invest in that company. In mutual fund, the fund manager is investing in hundreds of companies. So if that fund manager has knowledge of the Sharia, and if the board of that company says that it's a Sharia compliant, then it is permitted. If it's a non-Sharia compliant fund, you are not permitted to invest in mutual funds. There are very few Sharia compliant funds available. Sometimes by nature it can be Sharia compliant, it may not be a Muslim managed. So based on that, you have to ask a person who's well versed in this field of Islamic economics and take his guidance before investing. Otherwise, there are high chances that you may make a mistake. So only those which are Sharia compliant. For example, there was a fund launched in India by the Tata. I forgot the name, but it was launched by Tata company. It was Sharia compliant for many years. Now I'm not aware of it. There are certain UTI, Unit Trust of India, certain types of shares of UTI, not all, which are Sharia compliant. We have to do a survey. Now I used to do survey when I was in India many years back, but now, so I cannot tell at present which of the funds are Sharia compliant. So based on that mutual fund by nature can be Sharia compliant. It doesn't invest in banks, it doesn't invest haram products, it doesn't involve in things which are prohibited by Islam. So by nature it becomes Sharia compliant. So you have to ask an expert in that field, and based on that, if you invest in Sharia compliant mutual funds, it is permitted. If it is not Sharia compliant, it's not permitted. Hope that answers the question.